All right, so in this next module of this training on setting up your membership site in 30 days or less, we're going to talk about content delivery, and we're going to talk about how to take payments. Because ideally, if you have a membership site, you're not going to be doing it for free, so you want the ability to charge people. And I also want to show you various ways that you can deliver the content, meaning the structure you're going to need to use, the technical aspect of having a membership site. Now, we'll let you know that this training is not about the technical stuff. That's all stuff that the software you use, it's going to come with its own training on how to use it. So I'm not going to get into the technical stuff. I'm going to give you an overview, though, of the different options you have and the ones that I personally recommend. So, how do you deliver content? Here's 4 ways. One is a simple way is inside a Facebook group. Now, a Facebook group is a great way to deliver content, but it's better as an add-on at first, because unless you're very, very established, it's going to be hard to get a group worth paying for, but it is worth setting it up. But you can still deliver your content that way. So what I mean by that is, even if people aren't paying, even if you're, cut this little section and start right here where we start with how to deliver content. So let's talk about how to deliver content. So a simple way to do it is inside a Facebook group. And how you would do that is when somebody joins your membership program, they get an invite to your closed group that only people who pay become a member. Now within that group, you can then post videos, you can post articles, you can give trainings, you can give tips, you can give all kinds of stuff only to people in those groups. And what's great about that is once they cancel, then they no longer have access to that group, they no longer have access to the material. And people, we talked about it earlier, once somebody joins a group, especially as you get more and more people, they like to be a member of that group. But there are drawbacks to using a Facebook group, though, such as it's more difficult to automate, right? Because if somebody cancels their payment to you, there's no way for you to automatically tell Facebook to throw them out of the group. You'd have to manually do that like once a week, go to all your cancels, go and deactivate them from the group, which isn't hard in the beginning, but as you grow, it's a little bit more complicated. And I'm going to show you examples of all these in a second. Simple way, email autoresponder. And that's where you put the lesson into an email. You can essentially either do 2 options. You can teach the whole lesson in the email, or you can send them to a page where the lesson is on. And I'm going to show you an example of that because that's actually my first membership site. That's exactly what I did. A moderately difficult way is to use a WordPress plugin. And I shouldn't even say difficult because these plugins are actually pretty easy to use, and there's so much training available. I mean, the plugins themselves usually have a ton of training, and then if you go on YouTube, there's like hundreds of videos that show you how to use these. They're actually pretty easy. And then there's also custom solution. I personally I use a custom solution because my business has gotten so big that I wanted a lot of custom features that aren't in the WordPress plugins. That being said, I ran WordPress plugins for years. I ran email autoresponders for years. You don't need something custom. I actually don't recommend something custom because then you need a developer who knows your system, who's working with you, which I have now. But if you're just getting started, you don't want to need somebody. It's a lot easier to use a WordPress plugin, and I'll show you what I mean in a second, because then you can easily go on a freelance site and find somebody who's very familiar with that. But when it's custom, it's harder for people to get familiarized with your solution. So let's take a look at these in action. Okay, so here's mine, which is a custom site, right? And my members area, if you come here, there is the product library, and a lot of these are products I own, but I'm going to show you specifically the membership, and I'm going to show you how it evolved too. I'm going to show you how I used to do it. So if you go, this social training lab is my members area, and these are months here, and it tells you right there a new lesson will come available, and these are grayed out until the person gets to that month. So in week 1, they'll only see this. These will not be clickable. So they click on the lesson, and it's an audio class for week 1. It kind of tells them what they get, allows them to either listen here or download the audio. And then week 2, same thing, right? This is a PDF. And essentially, every week, a new lesson becomes available until they cancel, and then it stops updating, and they still get all the weeks they paid for, but they don't get the remaining weeks. This here is how I used to do it, though. You know, this was the social training app years ago. I just did it via email. This is an email autoresponder, and I set these up in advance. As you can see, there's 24 lessons. Back then, I used to do 6 months. And I scheduled it this is the first day, they automatically get week 1. 6 days later, they get week 2. 7 days later, they get week 3. 7 days later, they get week 4. And if you see here, this is all it is. It's an email telling them, welcome to the second week. And then there's this link here, which takes them to the lesson. And this was the lesson, right? And here's the thing, this wasn't even blocked. Like, anybody could get to this. It was blocked from Google, where you can't Google it and find it, but I mean, I could copy and paste this and send it to all my friends, and they'd all get it, but it doesn't matter, because nobody's doing that. You can't even think like that. If your site is so popular that people are like searching how to find it for free, well, that's a good problem to have. That means you can afford to upgrade. But in the beginning, I did this for like 2 or 3 years this way, and it was great. It was so easy. This was a WordPress theme. It probably cost me about $30, and then I added the content, and then I just put this in, like, schedule it all in, and like I said, every 7 days an email would go out. Once they canceled, you just unsubscribe them. You just go in here, their contacts, search contacts, unsubscribe them. There's automatic ways to do that as well. I'm not going to get into that. It's a little bit more technical. But they just stop getting the emails, and when they stop getting the emails, they no longer know where to get the next lesson from. As you see here, back then, I don't do this anymore, but back then I used to offer, if you have a personal question, they could submit questions, stuff like that. So that was another way to do it. Here's an example of a Facebook group. So this is like a ClickFunnels group. It's a closed group, and here they give, here's like a video within the group. This is people talking to each other. Hey guys, can anyone help me out? And as you see, you get responses. Here's just like a motivation quote. So this ClickFunnels is actually something I actually recommended. I'll put a link to it if you're getting started. It's actually a great software to use. I mean, it's amazing software. But if you're selling stuff online, the real reason your Facebook's ad isn't getting results. Like, these are all posts that you want to read, right? So, and a lot of them eventually you're not even generating anymore. It's questions that people have, other people are answering it, and people want to be a member of this. It's very worthwhile for them. So a Facebook group is a great thing. I talked about a WordPress plugin. This one is called Wishlist. I don't know if this is the best one anymore. But this was the one that I used before I went custom and I switched off of the autoresponder. This is the one I used. It was really simple to use. They raised the price now, so you might find something cheaper. Now it's $197. But there's other ones that are cheap. There's even free ones now too. But this one was one of the top ones back in the day. You can create different levels. You can what I like about this, it has integration with PayPal, Stripe, ClickBank, AuthorizeNet. So it has a lot of integrations, which is really good. And when I talk about the payment options, how long, before they get the content, access levels, I mean, there's a ton of stuff. And what's great also, it integrates with all these different systems. And just as importantly, there's 30 training videos that you get, right? So that's why I'm not going to spend the time to do training on this, because they teach you, they teach you how you get support. I mean, they literally will help you. For $197, they'll set this up for you. You'll have a working membership area very, very quickly. So, this is something that I recommend. And I showed you the custom was, my solution was custom, and it's not necessarily that custom is better all around. It was better for me because I have a lot of products now, so I needed like the ability to feature all my products. I wanted to have different things in my members area that wasn't there. So let's go back to, so here you see, I showed you an example of a Facebook group, an email autoresponder, the WordPress plugin, and a custom solution. So how do you charge people? Again, there's easy ways and hard ways. ClickBank is my personal favorite. I can't speak highly enough of them. If you're using an information product, I would highly recommend, if you're getting started, starting with ClickBank, because they do everything. They issue refunds. They do everything, and it doesn't require you to do anything. So that's definitely the way I do it. It's very simple. They'll bill the people every month until you tell them to stop by canceling. They can also the customer can cancel themselves, but it is easy. It's free too. They take a percentage of your sale, but you don't pay anything to get started with them. PayPal is also another easy way, but PayPal is easy, but and if it's your first way to get started, I would highly say, yeah, do it. But if you have a choice between ClickBank or PayPal, ClickBank has a lot of benefits that you're not going to get with PayPal. A medium option is like Stripe, which is another payment solution online. You can also integrate ClickFunnels, which I recommend. It's its own membership platform with Stripe, and that's a way to take payments. And the hard way is your own merchant account, where you go your own merchant account. You have a payment gateway and a shopping cart like Samcart. And I literally ran my business for 9 years solely on ClickBank, and I never had my own merchant account. I only got my own merchant account last year, only because I just started getting nervous as my business was getting bigger and bigger. I didn't like the idea of my entire business being on ClickBank, because if something ever happened with ClickBank, I didn't want my business to shut down overnight. So I set up my own merchant accounts more as a backup plan, just in case. But I still run the majority of my business through ClickBank. And ClickBank, let me just show you here. ClickBank is great because it's not only does it allow you to take payments, right? But you can also put your product, your members area, in their marketplace here, and then affiliates will promote your product for a commission. So let's say you have a membership site, they can go in here and you can say, hey, I'll pay you 50% every month for your customer. So an affiliate promotes you on their website, makes a sale, ClickBank tracks it, and then what's great about ClickBank is you don't have to worry about paying that affiliate. ClickBank automatically pays them. And you may think, well, I don't want to pay an affiliate 50% of a sale, but that's free money, right? Because you're not doing anything. This guy has a website, he's putting your ad on his site, making sales, and then you're just getting money every month. You're just getting, if your membership site's $20 and you're giving him 50%, you're getting $10 every month from ClickBank. He's getting $10 from ClickBank, and you did nothing. You didn't have to go and find a customer. You didn't do anything. So I really, really highly recommend ClickBank as a way to take your payments. So here's a shortcut that I wanted to tell you about, and that is to cap your membership site at 8 months. If you noticed in the example I gave earlier with my social training lab, it ends after 8 months. It initially ended after 6 months. I moved it to 8 months, but it ends after 8 months. And the reason for this is a few reasons. One is you never have to worry about creating more content. If your membership goes on indefinitely, then every month you have to kind of go, oh man, I got to create something new. And it gets very stressful. It does. Like, it becomes hard to come up with new things to talk about, new things to write. Now, if your membership is a Facebook group, well, then that's kind of easy. You don't have to worry about that. But if your membership is like mine, where you're creating original content, then ending it after 8 months frees you of the burden of having to worry about your membership site forever. Especially because most people don't stay on past 8 months anyway. I mean, you will get that one or two people who like forget to cancel and they stay on for years. But in general, I mean, you don't want to be creating content for 3 or 4 people, after a while. So I like to make it almost like it's a course, right? And they're going through it. So everybody starts on month 1, and the content for month 1 is the same no matter when you begin, right? It's not like every month it's somebody gets a different lesson. If you purchase my product today, you will get the same month 1 lesson as somebody who purchases my product, 2 years from now. Month 1 will always be the same, month 2 will always be the same, and this allows you to not have to worry about it, and it also allows you to position it as a course that they're going through that will end. And the reason that's good is because if somebody is in a members area and they see that it goes on forever, then there's no end in sight, and they get really nervous, and they feel like they're going to be billed forever, and they cancel. But if they look and they say, oh, month 1 is all about developing self-confidence, and month 2 is all about approaching women, and month 3 is all about creating attraction, and they look and they say, and month 8 is about managing a relationship, then they know that they can finish all 8 months and be done. So they tend to stay longer than if it's just random on forever, because people really don't want to feel like they're getting billed forever. Another thing is, when you do it at 8 months, is you can give a bonus, a really, really good bonus for people, and tell them that they'll get it at the end of 8 months. So maybe, what I did initially was the 8-month bonus for completing the course was a personal phone call with me. Now, again, I don't do that anymore just because of the volume of people going through my trainings. But years ago, I would get on the phone with somebody, because if somebody was in my course for 8 months, it means that they had paid, $30 a month for 8 months. That's $240. So I would give them a half an hour phone call with them. Or eventually I moved it to I created a really good course that the only way they can get it was at the end of 8 months. And that encourages them to stay for 8 months, to stay for the entire time. So that's just a shortcut I want to tell you about. Now let's talk about the assignment. So you want to determine the deliverable method you plan on using. So I recommend Wishlist Member, ClickFunnels, or if you want to do it the easy way, autoresponder to hidden pages. I mean, that really is literally the easiest way that you can do it. I put on here a URL, and here's 5 best plugins too, and I'll put a link for this under the video in the members area as well, because Wishlist, like I said, that's the one that I use. It's the one I'm familiar with, but there's more out there. You want to research which one fits your needs, because it really depends on what you feel like, what your payment plan is going to be. Wishlist is good because it integrates really easy with ClickBank, which I personally like, but if you're only using PayPal, you have a lot more options. ClickFunnels is good. ClickFunnels is a little expensive, and there's a little bit of a learning curve to it, but there's a lot of videos out there that teach you how to use it. And what's great about ClickFunnels is it does everything. You can have your members area, you can have your sales pages, you can take payments, everything is in ClickFunnels. So I will put a link for ClickFunnels there too. I don't use it personally because, like I said, everything that I do nowadays is custom, but I probably would use it if I was just starting out, because it's amazing. Everybody that I know who uses it absolutely loves it. And then the autoresponder way, really simple way too. I mean, that's literally the easiest thing you can do. You can join an autoresponder if you don't have an email list yet. It's literally probably like $10 a month to have an autoresponder. You get a free blog. You post the content on a WordPress site, and you can have your membership site up in like no time. I mean, no time at all. It's super simple. So what I want you to do now is just look through these different methods, kind of think about which one you want to use, and I'll see you in the next video.